welcome to Life Guidance from Beyond. We're your hosts, Deborah Rogers, holistic occupational therapist, certified trauma specialist, and intuitive healer, and
Jenna Murphy, communications executive by day, and intuitive medium and spiritual coach by night. On our show, we'll be channeling wisdom from beyond to help you tackle the everyday challenges of being human.
So let's explore the wisdom beyond and find new ways to navigate life together.
Hello! Welcome to episode 1. We're so excited to be trying this out. It's our first podcast.
Yeah.
And we wanted to introduce ourselves to you first, so we thought maybe we would do a little Q&A with each other. I'm Jenna, by the way.
And I'm Deborah.
And we met at a spiritualist church at a class for intuitives.
It was a medium class.
It was a mediumship class. Yeah. Super fun.
Yeah, and we knew we were meant to sit next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there was this instant connection. And that was years ago now.
I don't even know how long ago it was.
So long.
Anybody's ever seen.
Yeah. So let me start asking some questions. Okay. So have you always been intuitive? What was your childhood like?
I have been, though I don't think I considered myself always intuitive when I was younger. When I was really little, I would see, I would call them ghosts or spirits, but it actually got me really, really interested in studying about ghosts as I got older. And I would hear things at night down in the basement, and I would go open the door and it would stop.
Oh my God, that's frightening. Was it scary to you?
Yeah, it was actually. And there was one time I had to go to the bathroom and I saw this white spirit, I guess, and I walked through it.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was always hearing like a voice in my head, and I would talk to this voice. It was like a male voice. And then when I got older and I learned about schizophrenia, I started getting really nervous that, oh my God, maybe that's what I have. And I kind of shut it off.
Yeah.
And now I wish I kind of had it back more, because I think it was, when I learned about spirit guides, I think maybe that's what that was.
That's what that voice
was. Yeah.
I think it's really common for people to shut it off.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not quote unquote normal in our society. And so many people try to hide it or just turn it off because it's just not cool.
Right. Or they don't understand it or what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be frightening.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of we were talking earlier about, there's a lot of ebbs and flows sometimes with intuition. And sometimes with my experiences too, I've been really open, and just with that instance, I kind of shut it down, and later on I opened up a lot, and then I moved and I shut down again. And
interesting.
Trying to open it up again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How about you?
So I've been intuitive, but nothing like what I am now.
Yeah.
I always had a good gut instinct, but just like anybody else has a good gut instinct. I wasn't seeing apparitions. I wasn't hearing things, or there was not anything like that was paranormal happening around me. The one thing I did have was boy and girl. They were my imaginary friends before my brother was born.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh.
And so I used to play with them. And then my mom said that when my brother was born, boy and girl, my parents asked, where'd they go? And I said they went away, because then I had a brother. So I did not know until adulthood that those were guides or spirit of some sort that I was interacting with. And I wish I could remember what they look like. I don't remember. I remember interacting with them, but not anything beyond that.
So it's interesting how when we were younger, we both had almost a similar experience, not really realizing what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, what when did it start to get stronger and reopen up for you?
So when I was in my 20s, I had a pretty serious spinal cord injury and 3 spinal surgeries where I was bedridden for a couple years and had to learn to walk again. And so I started getting involved with Buddhism and meditation. And I had a meditation teacher. And the deeper I got in meditation, I started becoming very intuitive. I started just feeling this unconditional love around me, feeling like it wasn't just the scene in the world, there was something else. And before that, I've always been interested in energy. Um, so I think I was feeling more energy. And then I met someone later who's like, oh, you need to study Reiki. So that opened up my intuition more. And then I met this psychic. She did a reading for me. I'm like, I want to be able to do that. And so she started teaching me automatic writing. And that's where I started channeling a lot more. And that kind of everything kind of took off from there. And then when I like worked in hospice, the mediumship started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. What about you?
So for me, it was a trauma, which is also a common reason an opening and awakening, as people call it, happens. And I was in a very dark and worried place. And I said a prayer one night, and not even knowing that's really what it was just a fleeting thought. God, I don't know how I would do this alone. That's what I thought. The next night, I was awoken by a full-on angel, huge, hovering above my bed. Her hair was like blowing, like full-on Beyonce concert, and I could see her face. I could see the light fixture through her face.
Wow.
She was transparent. She was wearing a white gown, had these massive wings that were like weathered on the edges, like they were gray, like aged with time. Although she didn't look old, I could feel that she was older. And I thought to myself, oh my God, what's the protocol when an angel arrives? Like, what do you do? Like, what is this? So I sat up and I shook my head, still there. So I thought, okay. And I stood up and walked around the bed, and I heard in my right ear, you'll never be alone. And I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and she was gone. And what I tend to do is I happen to fall asleep when all sorts of crazy, creepy things happen. Fell right back asleep, which is what I did. And the next morning I thought, oh my God, what was that?
Yeah.
And I
am so vivid and detailed.
It was. Yeah. It was wild. So that's what started my opening. And I think I started listening to my intuition more, which I didn't realize sounds like your own voice.
Yeah.
It sounds like your own thought.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to decipher between the two. It's almost like that's a skill that you develop as you notice. Mm-hmm. Is that my thought, or is that something else? Somebody else's thought or spirit guide's thought? So it's been an amazing potpourri of psychicness. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I've juicy studied and
So what are some experiences that you've had? So there's always something going on, right? Lately or other experiences?
So I often am woken in the middle of the night. And recently my dog, my psychic dog, as we call her, she barked. And so I woke up, and there was an orb that was around my room. And so to me, that was an angelic being. And after thinking about it and meditating on it, and in the days afterward, I figured out my angelic team was telling me they were there for me because I was going through something difficult at that moment. And so it's just magical to have that realization that we're not this is not it. There's so much more around us and alive than we realize.
Which I think is a beautiful thing especially when you go through something traumatic or you feel alone or depressed, when you become more open to realize we're not alone. There's like something else. And there's even like this beautiful, just unconditional love around us.
That we can access anytime.
Right.
With the right knowledge and just practice and skill.
So would you consider yourself psychic? Would you call yourself psychic or?
I don't like the connotations of psychic.
Yeah.
But I prefer to call myself intuitive. Mm-hmm. It took me a while to even be able to say that I'm a medium.
Yeah.
Because that was like so weird to me. Like, how is this possible that I'm doing this?
Mm-hmm.
But I have accepted that about myself. So I feel comfortable now calling myself that.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't say that I'm a medium, even though I know. I've talked to many that have passed, but and I don't call myself psychic, but intuitive. I'll say like I'm spiritual, I guess, just in the sense I think that there's more than what we see. Yeah.
Definitely.
What would you say spiritual is?
To me,
how would you define it?
I love the word spiritual because I feel like it's all encompassing. It really is what you can define it almost as an individual. And so for me, I think of it as the universe as a whole, the angelic realm, guides, and just all beings that are beyond our knowing. It's not so confined to a religious like doctrine, although I do believe that many of those that we speak about in a traditional religion are real, like Jesus.
Yeah. I have a question. So I was gonna ask, like, how are you using your intuition now?
Oh my God. So I love to use it in my everyday life. Although I have to be respectful of people, right? It's not okay just to like go in and read somebody's, but in my work setting, I'm on a lot of Zoom calls, and so I can feel into someone's energy just to gather what the mood is, and that helps me bob and weave kind of with how to approach a topic. I rely on that far more than I ever realized. And then I also occasionally channel Archangel Gabriel, who's the angel of communication, which is what I happen to do for my day job. And so when I have writer's block or I just don't feel inspired, I'll ask Archangel Gabriel, please be with me now and help me write this. And I'll just sit there in front of my keyboard and then I'll just start to write and I won't really think about it. I'll just write what comes to mind and then I'll look at it and I can edit it from there. But it's a great little spiritual life hack.
Yeah.
How about you? How do you use it in your?
Well, I started with Archangel Gabriel when I did automatic writing when I started it. But before you go to me, I just want to add that you do readings.
Oh yeah, I love doing readings.
Right? Because we did Akashic Records class together, and then you went even further with that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So, to me, the Akasha, which is essentially the book of life for every single soul. So everything you've ever done is recorded in this mystical book, and all your lifetimes have been recorded, both past, present, and future even. So to me, it's like the psychic stew.
Yeah, I love that.
Because
that should have been the title of our
it combines all the modalities I studied. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I say a prayer at the beginning to enter into someone's records.
And it's Linda
Howe's method. Yep. And by doing that, I'm invoking their guides, their angels, their loved ones. And so I'm communicating with all of these beings that are supporting the soul that I am communicating with. And I can get really specific information. It's wild. It's just so much fun, and it even creeps me out.
Yeah, and then mediumship comes up for you.
Yeah.
You do readings too.
Yeah.
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 Everything just comes into the stew.
That's it.
So for my work, just as like a holistic occupational therapist, I do a lot of body work. And I just like what you're picking up with impressions when you're speaking with people, I pick up impressions. I almost feel like I'm having an inner dialogue with the body and that wisdom with the body. And it will literally guide me to what the body wants to be done. And a lot of times I'll teach clients like how to talk to that inner wisdom and get in touch with their own intuition. And I have had people who have passed come into sessions who have also talked and guided or given messages. But I think I love the intuitive work with the body because I just feel like we aren't taught in this world, like about the wisdom of the body. And it's such a wonderful way to connect to our body by dialoguing it and listening. And when I used to do Reiki on people when I was on the oncology unit, I noticed I developed the ability to be able to tell like what stage cancer they were in.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. Like there was a different vibration.
Oh, wow.
Like every type of cancer, every stage.
Wow.
And then sometimes I'm working with people on the oncology unit that were in comas or just not speaking. And this happened with hospice too. And I was able to connect with them and have a conversation with them and sometimes give messages that were really needed.
So were you connecting with their higher selves, do you think?
I never like labeled it as that. I don't know. I just consider that I was connecting to them. So that
their essence.
Yeah, their essence. I tend to say essence a lot when I talk to my clients or to families. Yeah, and then recently, then a friend put me through like past life regression. Well, instead of going to a past life, I go to a lot of other places. So Galactic Council and all sorts of places. So that's been opening that up more and more. When I was young, like in high school, I used to have dreams all the time about reading a book. I don't know if that was the Akashic Records or not, but then also going to meetings, like somewhere in space. And and going to like classes and
how fascinating.
Yeah.
So you may be astral traveling?
Maybe.
When you were doing that.
Who knows?
Oh, wow. Yeah. There's so much to dig into here.
I know. Right. Yeah. So, but that's how I use it now. And it's going to be interesting to see where the channeling in the past life works. So what she does now, instead of taking me to a past life, is she regresses me, or not regress, she just gets me into a deeper state. So it's almost like when I don't get into a deeper state, I'm able to channel, and I get some images, but not as dramatic as if I'm put into a deeper state.
Wow.
And so then I really can see images, and it just feels very beautiful. I feel like I can change my frequencies to different levels, experience different levels.
Wow.
So it's going to be, I'm kind of curious where that's all going to take me.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a journey.
It is a journey.
Travel the world.
Yeah, right. Why not?
All right. Anything else that you'd like to share?
Well, that's good.
Does your family know, or do your friends, or do you hide this from them? Or?
Well, I used to hide it, and now I'm so excited about it, and I'm so intrigued by it, and I see how much easier life can be when I incorporate it into my daily life that I want to share with people. People I just meet brand new, it wouldn't be what I start with introducing myself, but it has become a very big part of who I am.
Yeah.
And it's like my biggest passion, my biggest hobby. It's my creepy hobby, as I like to call it.
Yeah, because we have creepy nights with some of our friends.
That's right. We collected intuitive friends through all the courses that we've taken. It's fabulous. That's one great way to meet others that have similar interests is by taking courses at a metaphysical shop or online.
Right. Yeah. And I know, like, it's funny because I'll talk with you guys about it.
Mhm.
And actually, we'll talk to my daughter just because I want her to be open, even though
Yeah.
she's not totally. And my husband calls me a witch, even though that's really not what a witch is. But I don't really talk about it with my other friends.
Really?
Like friends of, the mom friends.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mentioned once mediumship stuff, and she's like, I don't believe in that. So I just left it. But yeah, so I have two very different groups.
It can be very polarizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fascinating and exciting, and it's a whole another world literally to explore. So
Right.
I enjoy exploring it with you.
I know. This is going to be fun with you guys.
And you get to follow along.
And who knows what will come.
Yeah. So excited.
So we really look forward to spending more time with you guys on this podcast and seeing what comes up and who's going to be visiting us and what information we'll be sharing. That is all for the higher good of all of you, all of us.
Yes. So thanks for joining, and we hope you come back again soon.
Take care, everyone. Love and light. Thanks for joining us on Life Guidance from Beyond. We appreciate your listening. And don't forget to subscribe.